Captain Atom number 9, written by J.T. Kroll, art by Freddie Williams II. Last issue left off with Captain Atom having to go to the future to stop the end of the world, pretty much. And last page reveal was that Renita, 20 years in the future, is also got Captain Atom powers, but only in her one hand. That's a thing. So this issue picks up, basically the entirety of the issue is that Captain Atom in 20 years from now is a religion. He is God, and he is something that everyone's just like, yeah, no, he is the one. Huzzah for him. So we see one of his most devoted prophets is Mikey Parker, who was the 10-year-old who had the brain tumor. And he's just recounting how he was a dick when he was a kid, but then he got a brain tumor and Captain Atom saved him, and it made him rethink his life, and he became basically an acolyte for the Church of Chronomota, which I guess is somehow Captain Atom. So immediately Captain Atom, he's still splitting up across the world, trying to find what is going to cause the end of the world. Still no sign of it, but he sees that there's a whole lot less war and hunger and strife, and everyone's like worshiping him, and that's weird to him. He doesn't quite like that, but regardless, he does eventually come across Renita, who is currently stopping some people who are trying to kill like some immigrants or whatever over in the Middle East in Libya, and she's just using her hand to lift up the truck and just disintegrate it into nothing, pure Captain Atom style. But then when she's done dealing with them, she sees one of the immigrants has been shot, and she uses her powers to heal them as well. And she's just like, I am the hand of Captain Atom, and thank you, Captain Atom, for helping me. And Captain Atom pops out, and she's like, how do you know I was here? He's like, you're always here. You're everywhere. You bind us and consume us or whatever. And just as a little postscript on this, throughout this entire next 5 pages of this book, they have a panel of the actual story, but then they have just a little single panel cutaway in 4 cutaway sections of another place that Captain Atom is currently split up and exploring at. So we get to places like New York City, Israel, California, Germany, North Carolina, Japan, it's just everywhere. So he's talking to Renita, and Renita's like, oh, it's good to see you. You're doing a throwback for him. That's 20 years old, but that's cool, and I miss seeing you. But then he's also talking to Mikey at the church, and he's just like, hey, what's going on, Mikey? And Mikey's like, oh, you came. I knew this was a special day. Why do you look like you're 20 years old for him? And he's like, well, how should I look? He's like, oh, your true self, the pure self of Captain Atom. He's like, okay, I guess. Why is today a special day, Mikey? I thought I heard something terrible was going to happen. He's like, oh, well, today's the day we're going to wash away all the evil of humanity in the world. We're going to wipe the slate clean. And it cuts back and forth between him talking to Renita and talking to Mikey. But the Renita story basically wraps up to Renita being like, hey, look, I get it. It was unfair of me to expect you to love me the way a person loves a person. You are so much more than a person. You love me just as much as you love everyone else on world because you're a god. And he's like, I mean, no, but if it gets me in your good graces, kinda. And they share a kiss briefly, but that's basically the end of that. The Mikey part, however, is where it gets crazy, in that they made a giant orb in the name of Captain Atom that's going to wipe the slate clean, and he's just like, I don't want that. Why do you think I want that? And he's like, but because you said you wanted that. And he's like, I would never say that. He's like, well, I'm very confused then. So he's like, you got to stop the orb. You can't let it do its thing. But it's already too late. It's starting to crystallize. It's got some weird purple energy about it. And he's like, oh, too late. Here we go. I have faith that the world will improve. I belong to you, Captain Atom. He's like, crap. So at this point, the orb shocks Captain Atom, and because of the way the energy works, it also shocks every one of his clones around the world, and they all just fall out of existence briefly. And as soon as Captain Atom falls to the ground and being shocked, Mikey's like, you're not a god. If you're a god, you wouldn't be smoked down by this. You're nothing but a pretender. You're a forsaken angel. bye, and he falls down to this super deep pit that this orb is also going down into, like down, seems like to the center of the earth. And he's trying to get down to it, but it's also like pushing him away from the orb as well, until finally he's just completely encased in earth. And he tries crawling out. He's just pushing his way through as much as he can, trying to get to the surface, but it turns out he accidentally went the wrong way. He's going down instead of up, and he digs into a magma tunnel. And this magma tunnel, because of him messing with it, then spews up. And he's like, oh, crap. This is the volcano thing. From, like, issue 1, I made the volcano. I went back in time. I'm the one who did this. Ah, crap. So, but now he realizes, like, okay, but I can stop this. I can manage to do this. So I have to absorb the energy and stop it from killing everybody. So he absorbs it and puts it back into like the time stream where he was sent from at the beginning of, or in the middle of last issue. And all the other Captain Atoms from throughout time like are there, and he tries to explain to them and like, don't worry, we have the memories of it because you did it. Like, we know it's there now. So yeah, that's an issue. So what's the, Mikey is apparently a bad omen. He's a destroyer, and the world's still lost to whatever that purple energy is. And the purple energy is actually in their time stream now. They can see it, and they're like, okay, well, we got to attack it. We got to do something. Here we go. But they realize that it's sentient energy. It has a mind, and it's, as they're attacking it, they're like, wait a minute, we know this thing, or we will know this thing, because in the end, this energy is actually us. At some point in the future, this energy is what Captain Atom becomes. He becomes a destroyer of worlds. He is Krona Mota. And that's where it leaves. Yeah, that happened. That was confusing as hell, but I enjoyed it. It was solid. I think that, I mean, the story's clearly not done, and I don't know how the volcano thing came back. I don't know. This is playing with a lot of balls in the air, but I trust the writers, and I do think it's got potential in terms of story of like, if you could literally see through all time and space, but you are beholden to your own choices and your own actions despite the fact you haven't made them, like, this is just a Dr. Manhattan story, is the long and short of it. But it's told with a lot more heart to it because it is Captain Atom, and I appreciate it. I do actually really enjoy that look at it. So overall, I'm going to give this one I give it a 7.5. The only reason that it's low is because it's still very confusing, and I'm not sure if we're going to get payoff on everything that they're setting up here. I feel like there might just be a kind of gist of the vibe of feeling good rather than actually understanding how things resolved. But again, I trust the writers, and I'm willing to see how it ends up in the end.